Well, everybody, what's the crack? And welcome back to episode number 30 of the Inline G Flute Podcast with me, your host, Inline G. And what an episode it is since day one. This has been my dream podcast episode, and very serendipitously, it has occurred bang on episode number 30. So regular listeners of this podcast, or even if you just dipped your toes into the odd episode, will know that there is one flute player in the world who stands above them all for me. Their name pops up in pretty much every single episode of this podcast. Keep a little eye out for them. And honestly, I just wanted this podcast to grow and establish itself, and for me as a podcaster to mature a little bit more before I even considered asking them to come on. But now that we have curated the most empathetic, compassionate, and downright hilarious corner of the flute community, the time is now. So this week's guest on the Inline G Flute Podcast is Sony Classical Recording Artist, ARD Competition winner, international soloist, award-winning chamber musician, professor at the CRR de Paris, Victoire de la Musique double nominee, Principal Flute of the Radio France Philharmonic Orchestra, and my wee mate, Magali Mosnier. I sat down with Magali in a recent trip to Paris. We had a green tea and an espresso together, and we talked about everything from playing under the great Myung-Whun Chung conductor to giving countless contemporary flute concerto premieres, her 20-year evolution of that great Debussy L'après-midi solo, right up to winning the ARD International Music Competition, and what the future holds for her. We talked about it all. This was an absolute pleasure for me. Personally as well, for this podcast, it felt like a real milestone to get my favourite flute player in the world on. So if you want to hear that interview right now, away you go. Skip ahead a minute or two. Just before I play it, I have a little bit of housekeeping to get out of the way. So this is an independent podcast, a small independent podcast entirely run by myself. The coming weeks have some big guests coming on, as well as some really in-depth solo episodes, and all this is managed entirely by me. So that is production, script writing, editing, graphic design, marketing, contacting the guests. Every single aspect is done by me. I love it. It is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It is a great creative project. So there are two ways you can support this podcast. Number one, there is a link in the description wherever you're listening to this to donate to the podcast. The podcast is free. The podcast will always be free. I will never bring in a system where you pay more for more content. However, if you wish to donate to the podcast, I make 4 episodes a month. That is 4 hours of content every single month. Come rain nor shine. If you saw me in a pub and you said, oh, I listened to every single one of Gareth's episodes, I'm going to buy him a pint. You can do that digitally. So I recommend you donate the price of a beer or a Dr. Pepper in your country once a month. It helps keep the podcast running. It allows me to turn down a little bit of work here and there to concentrate more time and more effort into the podcast. But if you don't want to spend any money, you can still help. Like, comment, subscribe on wherever you're listening to this. So if it's on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If it's on Apple or Spotify, please go and give it a 5-star rating as well. And follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok under Gareth Houston Flute. I know you hate being asked to do this, but it really, really helps small independent artists in their constant ongoing battle with the algorithm. So anyway, I'm so excited. Here is Magali Mosnier on the Inline G Flute Podcast. But the first thing I do ask every single guest, if you're okay being asked, is Inline G. So the podcast is called Inline G. Mm-hmm. Do you play Inline G or offset G on your flute?
I play Inline G.
Why do you play Inline G?
Well, because I learned that way.
Yeah? And that's it?
And that's it, yeah. I think if I had to learn now as a kid,
yeah,
it would be better offline.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Because it's very French. All the French players play.
Yeah, but you know, when you learn as a kid with the inline system, you use some
like the little pads,
little corks,
yeah,
to fill the holes, because you can't reach it.
Yeah, true. But I don't know, I like the inline thing. I think it looks very nice.
It looks nice, yeah.
That's the most important thing with flutes, is that they look nice. Okay, so we're team Inline G then. Thought you might change. Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to do the introduction. We're going to talk about everything, but I want to start just quickly with one of your early flute teachers, José-Daniel Castellon.
Yeah.
You studied with him, just because I am a massive fan of José-Daniel.
Yeah, me too.
Tell me about, what was it like to study with him? When did you study with him? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, let me first start with my very first teacher, with whom I studied for almost 10 years, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Franck Edouard.
Yes. Yeah.
And Franck is a close friend to José-Daniel.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they had the same teacher, flute teacher in Lyon.
Who was their teacher?
Marius Boeuf.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yeah, and Franck is a little older than José-Daniel, 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And I think he's also his godfather.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah. So it's they are my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are very close friends, and we love to spend time together to drink famous wines.
Oh,
and,
well, that doesn't sound
play
bad at all.
pétanque and do some barbecue, and yeah.
Oh, well, the next time you play pétanque with José-Daniel, can I come? I want to play pétanque and drink wine with José-Daniel. That sounds great. Is there a similarity between their teaching styles, do you think, or their playing styles? Do you find any similarities?
Yeah, definitely. Typical French school, and I know you're happy to hear this.
Yes, very much so.
Marius Boeuf, I think he was a student himself from Joseph Rampal.
Okay, Jean-Pierre Rampal's father.
Yeah, in Marseille.
Yeah, okay.
And then he was flute teacher in Lyon, and I had the chance to meet him.
Okay.
Very nice man. So of course it was like an evidence to after Franck to go to José-Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, José-Daniel's playing, I'm a huge fan of him. I can definitely hear the similarities between your playing and José-Daniel's. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's fair?
Well, yeah, I take it.
Because he's quite a unique flute player in many ways. Mm-hmm. I think there's not many players like José-Daniel, but you're one of the players. The other player who's quite similar would be Michel Mohagas. I think he's similar kind of school. I hear the similarities between them. But yeah, what do you think you got off José-Daniel? What do you think? Do you think you inherited his sound, or is that just pure Magali?
Oh, no, of course. I inherited many things, and I hope I did. Also, the envy to discover new repertoires all the time, and to switch from baroque to extra contemporary, and it definitely came from him. And I'm also always and still very impressed by his way of teaching, the passion he puts in it,
I can imagine.
How he devotes himself, his time to his students, and the way he encourages his students to see themselves like a family, like a group.
The class?
Yes, the class. Yeah. The idea of class, but to support the others, to take the good things from one another.
Okay.
And I think I'm teaching the same way nowadays.
Well, I was just about to ask that. Yeah. Do you think that's important then for a teacher to make sure they build a nice atmosphere as a class? Because you're teaching now with the
Yeah, because it's the good. Do you say it in English? Emulation, or am I? Yeah, am I translating?
I think that's good. Yeah, emulation. Yeah, I think
emulation. I mean, but in
don't test my English. My English is terrible.
In the good way. It's not competition at all.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's important for you with your class.
I mean, to grow together. This is good in one, this is good in the other, and let's put it together, and then both are.
I totally get that, I love that about France, actually. I like the class system. I like studying as a class, because obviously in other countries we don't do that. We get individual lessons, and we never see our other colleagues or fellow students studying. But I love that in France, of watching everyone play. It's also quite nerve-wracking. Like, I got very nervous sometimes.
Yeah, and it depends maybe on the instrument, I don't know, or on the teacher, or on the students, of course. It's evident there could be competition. There's always some competition, but I never felt this in the classes I studied.
Really? No competition? You never felt competitive at all?
No. I remember when I was in the CNSM, there was a lot of competition between violin players, for instance, but not in my class.
Really?
Never.
No competitive aspect?
No.
Do you think that's good? Do you think that's healthy?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. There's no like healthy amount of competition, you think, or you're better just at that level?
I mean, in art, you're not competing against the others. You're
agree.
trying your best to serve the composers and to be the best interpreter you can be. But it's not at the expense of the others.
Exactly, I agree. There's space for all of us. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. Okay, I've gotten notes here, but I have to try and follow them. It's very hard to follow. I want to talk about your orchestral career first. So I was looking this up. You've been Principal Flute of the Radio France since 2003?
Yeah.
21 years this year?
Yeah.
That is a long time. Wow. I didn't know it was that long. That's incredible. So when you got the job at Radio France, the head conductor was Myung-Whun Chung.
Yeah.
Please tell me about him. Did he have much of an influence on you? What did he give you as a musician? What do you think of him?
Oh yeah, I remember one day the flute assistant at the CNSM, Georges Alirol, told me, you always keep a certain affection to your first musical director, and that's true. I mean, when you meet such a conductor who gives you the opportunity to play in such an orchestra, and I mean who shows you his trust, you feel
very attached to them,
for your life.
I can imagine. Do you know what's funny?
So maybe I'm not that objective talking about Myung-Whun Chung, but no need.
There's nothing objective here.
Yeah, everybody knows he's
incredible.
Wonderful.
I'm such a fan of him. But I've always thought about it just because, obviously, I took lessons with you. I studied with Catherine as well. He was director of the opera back in the 90s, so Catherine is a massive fan of Chung as well. Yeah. And I was always wondering maybe if something from Chung's musicality maybe filtered down through to me, because I had you and I had Catherine. I was wondering maybe, I don't know, musically, have I learned something that might have came from Chung eventually? Do you think you learned anything musically from him? Or what did he give you musically?
Oh yeah, always. I mean, the way he always wants you to play into the long line and be careful of the way you tongue, I mean, for the flute, but it was especially with the strings, the work he did, the way he wanted them to hold the sound, and with this kind of gesture, like, I don't want, I want, things like this. It's really inspiring. I can't express it precisely in words, but the feeling, it's so evident when you're in situation.
Oh, it really is. When you hear Chung's orchestras, I'm such a fan of them. But yeah, 20 years now. First question about that, do you have any particular highlights? Any concerts that really stand out in your time with Radio France? Can I tell you my favourite one first?
Oh yeah?
I saw you guys doing with Miko Electra, the Philharmonique de Paris.
Yeah, I remember
Oh my God, that was incredible. That was my favourite Radio France concert. That was unbelievable. A few as well of you as soloists, but we'll talk about that later. But orchestrally, that was amazing. Also, I saw you guys do the Beethoven Third Piano Concerto with Adisaha Ut. That was special too. They're my two favourites. Is there anything that stands out for you?
Well, so many good memories. Of course, with Chung, especially while touring, because it brings a certain atmosphere. I mean, you live with your colleagues, you live with the group. Sometimes it's heavy, but I mean, the everybody lives his own problems or everything. You leave everything at home and you just bring your music and you have to be 100% in the concerts. And on tour it's always different from concerts at home. So I have very good memories from touring with Chung and some great concerts with Esa-Pekka Salonen. With Boulez also.
Did you play under Boulez as well?
Yeah.
Because he was involved with Radio France as well, wasn't he?
Well, he came twice, I think. In my years. He came long time ago previously, but and I mean, I had the chance to meet him otherwise with l'Ensemble Intercontemporain, but also playing his solo piece in Salzburg. So I had a personal relationship with him, and this man was so inspiring too. I mean, his recording of the Debussy L'Après-Midi with Cleveland is with the still, it's my favorite. That is incredible. I don't even remember of the flute solo especially, but the way he brings the music up to the climax, and then it's just wow.
He is incredible, Pierre Boulez. I actually saw you play. He has a sonatine for flute, but he also has another piece. I saw you play at the Traversière Festival a few years ago. What was that?
Exactly. Memorial.
But yes, that was it. Yeah, that was a really cool piece.
This piece I played in Salzburg for him with Daniel Harding in Mahler Chamber.
Yeah. So do you remember your first tour with Radio France, with the orchestra?
Actually, I do.
Yeah? Where was it?
I'm so surprised.
It wasn't that long ago.
Because I was still on trial.
Okay.
So I entered the orchestra in the very last days of June in 2003. And then I started my trial period in September. And I think it was in December we had the tour in Greece with Chung.
Nice.
And that was my first tour, and it was special.
What did you play? Do you remember what the repertoire was?
Beethoven's Third Symphony.
But then your first tour with the orchestra, obviously the Eroica Symphony has a flute solo in it. Were you really nervous for that, or were you okay at this point? That's quite a baptism of fire.
But I still have the feeling when we play with Chung that there is still this same atmosphere. I mean, you feel like you have to be awake. You have to be ready. He can make you nervous in a way.
Okay.
And you have to overcome this feeling. And be into the music and propose. And then it's just pure joy because he trusts you so much. He leaves you so much space to express yourself. I mean, just I can't even explain it. You're in the way you're excited and frightened, but you want to do it. He always brings this.
Okay, and that's So you weren't nervous then.
I still have. I think I had from the beginning. It was the same feeling.
Yeah. Okay. That's incredible, because I think going on tour when you're on trial still and getting a piece like Eroica as a flute player, I'd be like, that's a big start with the solo. I think that's it's quite scary. But
it is. But if you do not overcome this feeling, you cannot do it.
True. Actually, I'm going to ask you about solos then, because obviously you play with the Radio France Orchestra, so you do a lot of French music quite frequently. I'm assuming you've played L'Après-Midi d'un Fun 100 times.
Many times.
Do you remember your first?
I remember it very well. Same story for L'Après-Midi than for Daphnis.
Okay.
First was Daphnis.
Okay.
And the first time I had to play it was with my orchestra, with Myung-Whun Chung, and it was for the recording.
Oh, I know the exact album you're talking about. So the Daphnis one, that was 2004. 2004, I want to say. I can see the album cover in my head. It's like the beautiful like white grey cover.
Exactly, and it's for DG.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's Deutsche Grammophon.
It's such a strange feeling because it's one of the biggest solos of the repertoire.
Yeah,
and you never got to play. You never got.
Yes. Yeah.
You never got to play it.
Don't pass my English.
In concert. You never got the chance to experiment it, to melt it, to in the rehearsals and in the concerts. And when you tour, you every night is different, and it's so exciting. Yeah. But when you have to play it for the first time and for the recording, it's a little frustrating in the meantime, of course.
When you do the recording, do you only get one chance at it, or do they do it a couple of times?
No, we did it a couple of times, but I wished I could have played it in concerts before recording it.
Yeah, okay, well that's,
And same story for L'Après-Midi. First time I had to play it was for the recording with Miko.
Seriously? Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it was just... maybe 2006 or
I was about to say,
it was
quite late then,
in the same time, and those two biggest solos.
And you recorded them first?
Yes.
Do you ever listen to the recordings? Have you ever went back and listened to them?
Well, no.
No, you don't want to?
No.
Okay. Well, it's one of my favorite recordings, but...
Well, I have them somewhere here at home, but...
I love the recordings personally, but I'm not... Yeah. So you don't listen?
And, I mean, it's funny because... I had to play those solos so many times
all
afterwards.
The time,
Every time we tour, we have one of those two.
Because you're a French orchestra,
even the two in the same concert.
Yeah, you were telling me just before we recorded, you toured recently and you did both of them in the same program.
Yeah.
So like L'Après-Midi in the first half, Daphnis in the second.
This time, last tour, it was all in the second half.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Funny, because when we used to tour with Chung, we were starting the concerts with L'Après-Midi.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, you have the responsibility of giving the mood of
the entire concert.
Yeah, so that's quite a thing.
That's
and
fun
it's much more comfortable to start the second part of the concert with it.
Because you've already played, you've warmed up.
Yeah,
okay.
And I mean, you know the whole and...
you've got a feel.
You've tried it somehow in the first half,
on the L'Après-Midi solo, do you have any preferences for like how it's conducted or anything like that? Have you had conductors, for example, just saying, go? Or
they all say go.
Really? Because I've seen some where they conduct it as well.
Well... Not really.
No,
maybe sometimes in the rehearsal to say, well, I'd like it faster or a little slower, or can you take a little more time here but just generally. A few indications.
Okay.
And they just catch up at the very end of the solo. Yeah.
Do you think you've changed the way you've played it over the years? Has it evolved a lot for you personally?
I can't tell exactly because I'm not in the hall when I play it. But
true, yeah.
I like to challenge myself and to propose, to try and propose something different every time.
I know.
Okay, maybe I could just do a little diminuendo and then come back or start a little more. Let's start with little more vibrato. I don't know. Just experimenting. It's still experimentation.
It's always experimentation then.
It would be so boring to have only one version. I mean...
Yeah. See, I'm asking you that question. I know that you've changed it over the years because I've heard you do it. A lot of times I pay attention, but I want to see if you had as well thought about that. Okay, I want to move on to solo career.
But I really hope it's not only my personal feeling.
Okay.
I really hope... I never... Well, sometimes some of my colleagues come to me after the concert and say, "Oh, I liked it tonight because you did this differently, and I love this."
Yeah.
I hope, people can notice that I do differently. That it's not only in my brain.
No, it's definitely evident. Yeah, because I've seen you rehearse it as well. I saw you rehearse it for a concert, and then the actual concert was different than the rehearsal. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that. Oh, actually, I have to ask you: do you do it in one breath? Do you have an opinion on this in one breath?
Depends.
Okay. Is it important for you to do it in one breath, or
no?
Because it's a very important...
Shit?
A lot of people
Sorry.
give a shit. Oh, you can swear, don't worry.
Yeah, but that's... I mean, music is singing, is breathing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't play in apnea.
Exactly, yeah.
But experimenting all the different breaths possible, you have to do.
Okay.
Never be on the very moment, goodness, I need to breathe. You have to do it naturally, musically.
Yeah.
And you have to experiment, to practice a lot, to be able to do at 3 different moments.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to ask you then about the Daphnis solo. Do you remember? The first time you played it was on the recording. Sorry, you said that. Is it not really... I always imagine playing it is quite scary because the orchestra goes so quiet and you have those 3 bars where the basses are playing. Yeah. Do you not think like, oh shit, here it comes? Or do you enjoy it? Or do you have any advice even for a player who's going to play that, what to do? I think it must be so scary when you hear like doom, doom, and you get 3 bars of that and you're like, oh, here we go. That's fucking...
Yeah, but there's always this excitement, exaltation to dive into it.
Yeah. You just want to get into it. Yeah. I think we talked about it once in a lesson. I was playing it for something, an audition, and you had said to me one of the more important things is to remember to breathe out when you're waiting for it instead of getting here we go, just to go okay, chill and enjoy it, which actually really helped. But yeah, I feel like that's your teaching in general. You're very chilled. You really chill out your students. It was very helpful. I will get to your teaching later, but I want to follow this solo career. So you have 3 solo albums out with Sony Classical. Obviously, you have a 4th one because you're on Xavier de Maistre's Flute and Harp Concerto. But you gig all over the world. You do a lot of work in Germany. Why do you think that is? Why are you getting so much solo work in Germany?
Well, because I got the chance to win the first prize in the ARD Music Wettbewerb.
And you think that's what got your career going then, was winning ARD?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many people, I mean, concert promoters, agents, Tonmeisters. What's the English name?
Tonmeister. No, we'll do it
sound
in German.
Engineers.
Yes.
Because it's for the radio.
Radio, yeah.
So many people from or around the classical music world come and listen to this competition. That it helped a lot.
Yeah. And you can cut this out of the podcast if you want, but I just wanted to ask you, I think you told me once when you won the ARD competition, you were pregnant at the time?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
2nd month.
2 months pregnant and on you go, win the competition.
Well, yeah.
Did it change your preparation? Did it make you...
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I remember, it was just after my first year in the orchestra. And I remember very well that the orchestra was playing in July in the south of France in a festival called Les Chorégies d'Orange.
Yeah.
Carmen with Chung.
Yeah.
And in September it was followed by a tour in Japan with Carmen. Okay. And so I had to ask for, it's not vacation, but
time off,
time off, exactly, of the orchestra. And my colleague played the Carmen in Orange and in Japan, and it was for the competition, which was taking place in September. So we had still other projects at the orchestra in July, and I had planned that my whole August would be for the preparation of this competition. And then I was, very beginning of August, I was at a festival somewhere in France doing chamber music, and I was like, am I eating too much or maybe drinking too much, but I didn't have the feeling I was drinking that much.
Yeah.
But I was sleeping all the time. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And then I went back home and I was sleeping, and I was like, I have to practice. I really have to practice. And then suddenly I thought, what? But maybe it's something. And so I had a test, and
that was it.
It was a shock, even if I mean, with my husband, we wanted it, but it was so.
It's
sudden.
always a surprise, yeah.
Yeah, and you never know, especially in the very beginning, if it will last. Yeah,
of course, in the early days,
and I was like, shall I go to this competition or just relax and take time? And I was like, well, they gave me some time off, and I don't want to tell them right now that I'm pregnant, but they will think I don't want to go, I'm afraid, or I have to. Yeah. Let's go and see
what happens. And then you won.
But I think in a way it helped, because this competition then was not the most important thing.
Yeah.
It was not important anymore.
So you could enjoy it a little bit more, maybe, or
maybe. I was like, okay, I'm happy in life. I have a great position. I'm gonna have a baby, so
let's have some fun.
It's just bonus.
Yeah,
let's go and try.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I don't think I've ever heard a flute player talk about how to prepare for things when pregnant. It's not something that people talk about very often. I've never heard of anyone winning a competition when they're pregnant either.
I mean, pregnancy or other situations, I can't imagine. But you have some. You probably develop some reflexes that put you in a mood that you are able to do in a shorter time.
Yeah.
What you would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to prepare this program practicing only maybe 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
When I thought I would be practicing 8 hours a day.
Yeah. That's incredible. I still can't believe you won that ARD Competition while pregnant. That's unbelievable. You told me that one day so casually, and I was like, what the fuck?
Especially when I was there, every morning was like, am I going to get up or vomit first or whatever?
And then you just go out and win. Oh, unbelievable. So you gig a lot in Germany because of that. The UK and America, have you gigged as a soloist in the UK or America?
Not so much, and I regret it.
It is a shame. The opportunity never came,
I don't know exactly. You know, when you're a woman, sometimes you cannot catch all the opportunities at the right moment because you are pregnant or you have small children and I mean, that's fine. That's life.
Yeah.
But there was a moment when I had my 2 kids and they were babies.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like going
to travel to UK or America.
Of the world. I mean, even in Asia. At the beginning, I had some contracts there.
Okay.
When they were so little, I couldn't leave for 3 weeks in a row. I mean, I admire there are so many wonderful piano, violin soloists. I mean, they are Wonder Women. Yeah. I admire them so much.
Oh, I know.
I was not able to do this.
Yeah.
So maybe I missed some occasions, but...
Well, maybe because of this podcast. Maybe after this goes out, you'll be getting some invites from America and the UK if they can afford you. Yeah, I saw Kasia Buniatishvili had a child recently, and she's bringing the baby with her to concerts, takes pictures afterwards, breastfeeding on stage and all after the gigs. I was like, wow, that is a lot of things to do at one time. Okay, do you have a favourite solo performance you've ever done? Is there anything that stands out in your career as a soloist? Can I say my favourite as well? What do you think? Sorry, I'm interviewing as a fan as well. My favourite was the Dalbevy Concerto. I was at that. That was incredible. I actually saw someone else played it recently. Someone recorded it recently in Germany somewhere. I think it was a Spanish flute player. I'll have to check that. But I saw a video of it recently. But I was at that gig and it was incredible. That was definitely my favourite solo performance you've done. Yeah.
It's a nice piece.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
That's a good memory, yeah.
And you got to do it with your orchestra as well.
Yeah,
and
with Lionel Bringuier.
yes, it was great. Because I think in the second half they did Bolero, I want to say. You didn't play, obviously, but
No.
yeah, that would be a little bit much. Yeah. Right, come on, back in.
Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah, that was a great concert.
But it's still online. I mean,
Oh, it is, yeah. Everyone should definitely check it out.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, well, don't worry. I've plugged this. I've plugged that specific video on this podcast many times. I've told people to watch it. I think it is a great concerto, but it was so good. Yeah, that was my standout solo performance. Do you have anything that particularly stands out for you as a soloist, either as a concerto soloist or in a recital?
I also had the chance, talking especially of contemporary music, contemporary concertos. The Philippe Herson concerto is very nice, and I had the chance to perform it.
What's it called? Dreamtime, that's it, yeah. You played that in Berlin, did you? Or
No, Dreamtime. I played not the whole thing, but for the Victoire de la Musique.
Ah, yes, that's
on
right.
TV, and I played it in Freiburg.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because you were nominated for Soloist of the Year twice, I think, 2016 and 2020 for Victoire de la Musique. Mm-hmm. So it was a 20.
So.
I think it was.
Two times, but I'm not.
I should be working for your marketing team. I know everything. But you can. No, I remember you preparing it because it was one year. It was in Paris as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it was not the. It was not for my nomination.
Ah, okay. It was. Was it for his nomination?
His nomination. Yeah.
Okay.
Herson.
Yeah.
For a piece with child. Choir.
Yes.
Children choir.
Yeah.
But this piece couldn't be performed in the TV show. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
And they picked one other piece of him, and this one.
I remember that actually. Yeah, I really remember that. I actually saw yesterday Mathilde is nominated this year as well. Another flute nomination.
Yeah.
Has a flute player ever won it? I don't think so.
I
Rampal, maybe.
Rampal had maybe Victoire of Honor for his
for Pau got one as well, didn't he?
Career.
Yeah.
And Pau got one, I think, Emmanuel.
Oh, I hope Mathilde gets it this year then.
Yeah, but not so many flute players, huh?
No, really not, so especially not.
This year we have another chance with Mathilde.
Yeah, but you were nominated twice. I watched it on TV. I was so annoyed that you didn't get it. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I'll not get in trouble. So that's any other standout performances as a soloist? Anything else? I remember semi-recently, the Mantovani concerto. That was a monster of a concerto. Yeah. How was that? How was that experience?
That was in Berlin.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
For the Ultraschall Festival. Wow, that piece.
That is a monster of a piece.
Yeah. And with the so big orchestra, it's quite a challenge, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but you did it. And you did another contemporary concerto recently as well. With bass flute, I think I saw.
Well, yeah.
What was that?
Bass, alto, and piccolo.
In one concerto?
Yeah, Raoul Tavarin flute concerto.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, with Miko.
Was that a premiere? Was that the first time it was played?
No, I don't think so. But it's nearly never played.
I've never seen it before.
And even Miko Franck, who is a huge fan and who was a close friend of Raoul Tavarin, didn't know this piece.
Oh wow! Okay, how was the experience playing it?
Well, it's so nice music. I mean, you can really recognize Raoul Tavarin. That's definitely his music.
Yeah.
And but it was a kind of experimentation. I mean, using all the flutes in one piece.
Yeah,
that's probably why it's not so much played, because it's so complicated to have all the four instruments.
All 4 flutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you put them when you're on stage? Are they on like a table, or do you set them on like flute stands?
Yeah, they were so cute, the guys. They organized for me. Well, the piccolo was on the flute stand, but there was a flute stand, and there was also trumpet stand for the alto and the bass. And
okay,
so they perfectly.
Oh, okay. Is it weird switching between them because I always feel when you switch to bass flute and then you pick up the normal flute afterwards, the normal flute feels very small or very weird or I never like it.
I mean, it's like
exactly. Yeah, I think do you play?
Yeah, physically, it's really strange,
especially for the bass flute. Yeah, because they are quite heavy as well. Yeah. Did you do they go in order? So is it like bass flute first, then alto flute, then
that would be
that'd be nice.
so easy.
Do they switch about everywhere then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Any other standout performances as soloists before we move on to the next bit? I could pick them
like
for you.
the idea that it's to come.
Oh well, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Oh, actually, just when it came into my head. The Dutilleux Sonatine. Am I right? You played that once for Dutilleux himself? Or am I making that up? Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he like to play for?
So lovely.
Everyone says that.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Henri Dutilleux, yeah. Where did you do that?
Well, with my orchestra, we had the chance to play a lot of his music and to record a lot of his music. So we met him quite often.
Yeah.
And... of course, I don't remember the year, but one year we were invited in the Settembre Musicale di Torino.
Very good Italian.
And this year the festival was around Dutilleux's music.
Okay.
So we were playing with the orchestra, and there was also chamber music concert where a few of his chamber music pieces were played, and that's where we played the sonatine with my colleague Catherine.
Catherine,
and so we had the chance to do the rehearsal and the concert for him, and to and he told us, well, for years I didn't want people to play this music. I also asked my editor to cancel it from my catalog because it was a use piece.
Yeah.
But the editor never...
Thank goodness, Thank goodness.
Never did it. And, well, now I'm old and you can still... feel all the influences I had at this time, and it's a nice piece, and I like it, and I like the way you play it. And
so you convinced him to keep it then, you think? Yeah, I can believe that. I love the Dutilleux Sonatine. I think it's a beautiful piece of music. I'm a big fan of it. Okay, next up, teaching. We'll talk a bit about your teaching. So you're at the CRR de Paris at the minute. You taught in Lausanne before? Yeah. Okay. How long have you been at the CRR?
Oh, don't ask me. 7 years?
Wow, already. Okay. Really simple question, but do you like teaching?
I do.
Yeah? What do you like about teaching? I know it's a very simple question, but I'm very interested.
No, the easiest answer is transmission.
Yeah?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's obvious. But while teaching, you still ask you so many questions, and you still improve.
Yeah, you learn.
Also. And it's not just giving things to students. I mean, it's an exchange.
Yeah, I noticed that with your teaching as well. Yeah,
one feed the other.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Yeah, do you take that sort of role as not just being a teacher, but also being supportive to your students? Because like I always felt that you're very supportive of your students. You look after them. You're not just their teacher. I wouldn't say a friend necessarily, but do you view that as important for a teacher, that your students feel safe around you, they enjoy their lessons, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. It's not just you come take your lesson and we close the door and it's over. I mean, sometimes you with young adults,
exactly,
they go through difficult times. Yeah. I mean, they just some of them left their family
miles or countries away. Yeah,
exactly, and I mean they need. I mean, I don't behave as a mother or
no.
I don't have to be a friend. I mean, because we have to keep
of course,
distance. But it's more, if you need something, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
which I think is very important as well. Not a lot of teachers are like that. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, I got robbed in Paris. Did I tell you this story years ago? I got all my money stolen one night. Someone stole my bank card. All my money went. Well, he didn't steal my bank card. I kind of gave him my bank card. But that's another story for another time. But I remember I couldn't get any money sent over either. There was a problem with my bank. And to make money, I had a friend over at the time, and we went out into the street in Paris and just played Irish music and got money, and that paid us for a week. But I remember telling you like 2 days later, like, why didn't you ring me? Why didn't you talk to me? I was like, oh, I wouldn't have thought that. Yeah, it was very nice to know that you have someone who supports you. It was very, I could have used it. Yeah, that was a bad time. On teaching though, a subject I have to get into because I've just talked about it, the French flute school. Now, obviously, we all know about this great École Française de la Flûte. What does it mean to you when I say the French flute school? What is it to you? Is it a style of playing, or is it a style of teaching, or?
Probably more a style of playing, even if it's less and less evident nowadays. But I think it comes from the French music in general.
Okay, you think that?
Yeah, I mean, when you speak about the French school, you refer to Taffanel and Gaubert, and so the early 20th century.
Yeah.
When there were all those masterpieces created.
True,
Ravel, Debussy, and it was that time. And it was this, in their music, this color of the flute, but of the woodwinds, generally, I would say. Something maybe not too grounded,
a little bit
in
ethereal,
the air,
floaty,
I like this image to say, like, it's more like perfume.
I love that. That's very French.
Maybe it's what made a big difference with the German school, which was very grounded with all those masters, Bach, Beethoven, I think those composers, those periods, determined.
You think it influenced? The style of playing.
The style of playing, and probably I'm not the one to tell, but also the speaking.
Well, I'm very curious about that, because I was talking about that in the episode, that I think the French language definitely plays a part, because the shapes you make with your mouth are naturally very fluty, they're very ooh and to and stuff like that. Yeah. But, like, well, you have students, probably. Have you had students that are non-French speakers?
I have a little story. Years ago, I don't remember why, when, where exactly. Well, it was in Paris, but I was with Ransom Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
American flute player who
rocks.
studied in Paris with Rampal.
Yeah.
And he told me that at that time he wanted to come to Paris to learn from Rampal. Yeah. That's evident. But
don't we all,
but he also wanted to learn to speak very good French.
Okay.
Because of the quality of the tonguing, and he was persuaded that it had to deal with the speaking.
I think so. Yeah.
The articulation.
There is, but it's very different in French. It's very gentle, the t. It's not like an English kind of t. It's a different placement in the mouth. I need to research that more, but I think there's definitely something in it.
Yeah.
Have you had...
The way is... Can you say it again?
Which one?
The English one.
T.
T. It's long.
Yeah.
Can be very short.
Yeah, and it sort of floats on the air a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I actually saw a speech therapist in Paris once because I have a problem with my tongue. And she got me to say tomate all the time. That was the word. It was like tomate, tomate, tomate. And I couldn't do it properly. But that's why I'm very aware of how the T's work in French, because she really shouted at me for that. But you must have had students that aren't French. Mm-hmm. Have you told them about the importance of the French language, or does that play a part in your teaching?
No, I mean, I don't bother them to learn French in order to play the flute.
Okay.
I mean, you're in France, you have to learn, I mean, to understand a bit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We all know that French people are so bad at speaking foreign languages that if you don't make an effort, it's going to be complicated. So just to enjoy your life here, learn the language. But then I insist on the articulation while teaching. Of course.
That's really interesting. So you don't promote learning French to help with the flute. It's just for living then.
I mean, I'm not convinced it comes from the language.
Okay.
That's what Ransom told me.
Okay. But you're French, you wouldn't know then.
But sometimes, just in a phrase, I put some words and ask them to repeat them.
Because they'll help. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. I have to get on this next section. The future. So. Yeah, I've known you for I think 8 years now. So I've seen your playing change. I'm sure your playing has changed over the last 8 years. I've seen it develop.
Oh, really?
I feel like the last few years especially, you're really at your peak right now, I think. What's next? What's left to achieve? What's on the bucket list? What would you like to do? No. It's the opposite. No. Give it a few years, but no. No, you're at your peak. I've watched videos recently. I'm like, oh yeah. I feel like you're maturing as a musician a lot more as well. I don't know, you're getting better and better, I think. But what do you think? What's the to-do list? What do you want to... Is there any pieces you want to play? Any performances you want to do? Anything you like to record?
Oh, well, I'm always really happy to discover new pieces and so to face new challenges.
Yeah.
So, next month, I'm going to play the Alexandre Desplat flute concerto.
Oh, yeah.
Péléas and Mélisande.
Yeah.
In Vienna with him. So
is he conducting?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, because he was a flute player as well, wasn't he? Yeah. Have you met him before?
No.
Okay.
I mean, this project was due 3 years ago, and then because of COVID we had to cancel, and then the year after he had obligations in LA.
Of course, and
finally, this February it happens. So
ooh, have you started? I've taken you've started looking at the music, and how's it going?
Well, I'm still in the process.
Yeah.
But, but it's exciting.
That'll be a good one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there any pieces you want to play specifically in the flute repertoire that you've never performed? I feel like you've done everything at this point, but maybe not.
No, it's impossible to have done everything, but maybe Emmanuel.
Well, yeah.
But
he's done everything for every other instrument too, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm a lazy person. It always comes with what's on the menu. I'm glad if it's Philippe Emmanuel Bach or if it's Herson or if it's...
Okay.
Last year with Raoul Tavara, it was unexpected. Well, I knew about the existence of this flute concerto, and once with Miko we were discussing, and I told him, there's a flute concerto. He was like, oh, really? and then a few months after, our artistic director came to me and told me, well, Miko wants to play this flute concerto.
Wow.
And then I looked at the score, and then I saw it was for the fourth flute, and I was like, oh,
oopsies.
My God.
But that's how it came about. You just had a conversation with Miko one day, and then it was played. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Wow. Okay, well, I don't think there's much left on the to-do list for you. You've played it all, but I hope it's something new. I hope there's something big coming up.
There's always something new, and there are old pieces which would be brand new for me. I mean, in the Baroque repertoire, there are so many things.
Yeah, because you've obviously recorded a Bach album.
Yeah, but it's the.
Have you played the CPE Bach concertos with orchestra? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a project of recording, but it was just before COVID and it was cancelled, and then afterwards there was no more money.
No,
that's life.
Did you actually record them? Did you get to the point of recording them, or did?
Well, we had the recording session was planned, and the label was okay.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, the label had no more money.
Okay.
And
So it didn't
blah,
get
blah,
to.
blah.
You didn't actually record it
No.
yet. No. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, because I'm about to say if that exists, I have to find that. Okay. Some quick questions to finish up here. Well, as quick as you can do them, but don't panic. Do you have a favorite flute concerto?
That's a tough question.
Everyone I've asked for, I said eBay.
Well, you know, so many of them I love. Well, for sure, please excuse me. The one I like the less, or which I don't like, is Rodrigo. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. Have you played it?
I hate this music.
It's so hard, I think, as well.
And it's so shouty all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I can't see you playing that, yeah.
among the others, no one in particular.
Okay.
I mean, Mozart G major and
Yeah.
Ibert accompanied me all my life with
Yeah.
my highlights and
Yeah.
competitions and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But every time I get to play again or a concerto, I mean, for the moment it's my favorite because I'm so much involved into it that it's my favorite, and then
That's a good answer. Yeah.
I get rid of it and it's in another one.
That's a really good answer.
I can't pick one.
Oh, that's a good answer. You're going to embarrass everyone else that has to answer this now. Do you remember the first ever flute album you bought, or first CD, or that featured the flute? No?
No idea.
Do you remember your first CD in general that wasn't the flute, from any kind of music? No?
But I think it was more pop music.
What kind of pop music would it have been?
Well, maybe the Doors or the Clash.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what you listened to when you were younger? The Doors and the Clash?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you were cool.
Love it.
You were always cool. Wow. Oh, yeah, because you studied in London for a little while as well, didn't you? Did you go to Guildhall for a little while?
Yeah, it was an exchange when I was in the CNSM.
Did you go and see any rock concerts or any cool concerts when you were there in London?
No. Unfortunately, no.
Just flute.
I remember I can't tell you what they were playing, but we went to a concert to listen to the LSO, of course.
Yeah.
And the Queen was there.
No
and we
way.
had to stand up and they played the God Save the Queen. It was so special.
Oh, that is cool, yeah. You've never played for the Queen then yet? No, well,
No.
not the Queen anymore, the King now. But
it's the only thing I remember from this concert.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, okay, that's very English then, yeah. If you could switch instruments and still be as good, what would you switch to? If you had to switch instruments, if you had to play a new instrument, not the flute, what would you pick?
Well, when I was younger, I would have said cello, but not anymore. Because, I was missing the basses. I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If we are... generally, I say that if I had the chance to be a great singer, I would sign in, definitely.
I was definitely going to say that.
But if we stay in the pure instrument, I would pick the violin.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I can imagine you playing the clarinet.
No, I can't.
No?
No other wind instrument.
You can't play any of them, no? I can't either.
Well, I wouldn't have the feeling for it.
Have you ever tried to?
Yeah, I started with the oboe.
Oh, really? Did you? As a child then? As a kid?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, 2 questions left. You've obviously traveled the world. You've done all your concerts. Where's the best food you've got in the world? Don't say Germany. That's a lie.
I had so much good food in Germany.
I know.
Yeah, sure. Everywhere I can find good food.
Yeah, because you're very into food.
Oh yeah, Japan, Korea.
I was about to say Japan must be good.
Yeah, but Italy, of course.
Yeah.
France also.
Well, France isn't bad either. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can have the 4 then, and yeah, probably last question then. Do you have a favorite alcoholic drink? Do you have a favorite cocktail? Or any alcoholic drink?
Wine, first of all.
Which kind of wine?
Ha!
Because I know you've got an answer for this.
No, I don't.
No?
No. Sometimes I'm into white and sometimes into red.
I thought you were going to give me all these names of beautiful French wines. And we're going
don't want to choose. I mean, some are, Burgundy wines.
Okay.
But cocktails, talking about cocktails, I think my favorite would be the mojito. Or what's the name of the other Cuban one?
Oh, Capriña? That one?
No, that's not Cuban.
Is it not? I think it's Brazilian actually, isn't it? Yeah, that's Brazilian. Yeah.
It's Brazilian.
Cuba Libre?
No. It's still with rum and lemon.
And so your second favourite cocktail is?
Daiquiri.
Daiquiri, there we are. That's a perfect way to end. Yeah, I think that's everything. We've got a lot of stuff there. We've talked for like an hour.
And I feel like drinking a daiquiri now.
Yeah, well, we can go for a daiquiri. We can cut the camera, we go for a daiquiri. Thank you very much for coming on this podcast. It is incredibly appreciated. I'll just finish it by plugging quickly. Obviously, you have 3 solo albums out. Fantasy, Bach, Mozart, all on Spotify, all with Sony Classical. Let me get the other ones now. You're on the Dutilleux chamber music album. Variation 5. Wind Quintet.
Vincent Dandy.
Oh, the Vincent Dandy. Yeah, I've heard that. That was quite a while ago. Yeah.
Also, some chamber music recordings. The
trio, the Debussy trio. Yeah. With Harmonica. Was that what label was that with? Was that with Harmonica Mundi?
Harmonia Mundi.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Not harmonica.
Close. But that was great. That won an award as well. That album. Yeah. Okay, so go check out all those albums. Obviously, check out the Orchestre Philharmonique de Radio France. I'll put all the links down in the description. And yeah, we're done. We'll go for a daiquiri. Thank you very much.
Thanks.